should you rent a car through Uber? Being even more specific, should you rent a car to be an Uber driver? There is a lot to unpack on this video, so let's get right into it. First off, the price. Let's be honest. You want to know, okay, how much is this going to cost me? And as you can see right here, weekly rentals as low as $260 a week. Rentals come with insurance and basic maintenance. Start earning with rentals from our vehicle partners. Lowest available rates vary by city. I've heard of people renting through Uber for, let's say, $200 a week, all the way up to, let's say, maybe $260, $275. So it does depend maybe on your city and a lot of other factors. So this is something you do kind of have to look into when it comes to Uber. Everybody's situation is different. And then going down here, which is kind of interesting, they have hourly rentals. So hop in, hop out, etc., etc. And then weekly rentals. So it does depend. And as you can see here, see options available in your city. So let's say if I click this, I can go here and see a few different options. So $69 a week and 20 cents a mile through Hive. So it might even charge you per mile with Hertz. This is $210 a week. Going down here, Avis is, or is it Avis? Can't remember. It's $260 a week here, $285. You know, so there's a bunch of options as you can see here. So you're looking at about $200 to, let's say, in my case, $285 a week. Now, there's a couple important points I really have to talk about when it comes to renting a car to be an Uber driver. Number one, the renting paradox. Here's what I mean by this. If you think about it, when you go to rent a car, you're going to be negative money in the beginning, right? Like, say you rent a car for $250 a week, right? Make numbers super simple. Well, if you think about it, you have to make $250 or more in order to break even. Like, say you drive during that week, and let's say you only make $200. And you're like, hey, great, I made $200. Well, you're still making, or I guess losing, $50, right? You're negative $50 after all of that. So you have to drive enough, like I said, to break even, or to make more than that, or make a profit. The issue, and this is where the paradox comes into play, is I suggest in all of my videos, make sure you start off part-time. Make sure you drive part-time, see how the numbers work, see if you like it, see if you don't. There's a lot of benefits to driving for Lyft and Uber, especially doing it part-time or full-time. But depending on your location, depending on a bunch of other factors, maybe it's not even worth it in your area or in your situation to drive at all. The hard part is you don't know. You don't know if Lyft and Uber is worth it for you in your location, your situation, your, let's say, other work schedule, whatever the case is. And I think the issue with renting that's kind of unfortunate is you can do it like a trial run to see if you like it or not, but the big issue that comes into play is this. It's very difficult, in my opinion, to rent a car to be an Uber driver and do it just part-time. Let's say you have to spend $250 a week to rent the car. And let's say in your area, giving everything considered, you can make on average $25 an hour. Well, you have to drive 10 hours just to break even. Now, let's say you have a 9-to-5 job, you have other things going on. Yeah, maybe you could fit in 10 hours, but can you drive more than 10 hours? If you can, this might not be worth it. Even if you do drive 10 hours, you make $250, you're only breaking even. So that's almost like you just wasted those 10 hours of your time. Now, if let's say you're getting into Lyft and Uber, and you're like, look, I'm gonna go full-time, I'm gonna rent a car, drive full-time, yeah, maybe the rental's worth it, because after those 10 hours, everything else is profit. However, you don't know if Lyft and Uber is gonna be worth it full-time or not until you do it. So that is something I do have to stress when it comes to this paradox, that when it comes to renting, you kind of have to go maybe all out in, let's say, 1 week just to test the waters. And it is unfortunate that you have to almost put up money just to see is Lyft and Uber worth it or not. I remember when I was driving in Boston, it was great part-time, horrible full-time. Now, I've heard of other drivers, like say in Nashville or Las Vegas, for example, who make a killing driving full-time. However, I know other people I've met in other cities that were doing it just part-time, and they're making practically nothing. And maybe, like, say, if you're renting a car for $250 a week, maybe you don't make $25 an hour. If, like, say, for example, you can only make $15 an hour in your area, now you're looking at about 16 to 17 hours of driving time just to break even. This is before you make any profit. And if you're trying to do it part-time, you're already looking at about 16 or 17 hours part-time. Now you have to squeeze in another few hours at least just to make some money. This is why when it comes to renting, it's way better to do it full time, but you want to be able to gauge, is full time worth it or not? And it depends. Number 2, rideshare insurance. I'm going to be pretty brief on this one because I've done a bunch of videos about auto insurance and car insurance, and especially in this case, rideshare insurance. Overall, just contact your insurance provider. I know Uber says, hey, it comes with insurance. The Uber insurance is not that good. Make sure you contact your auto insurance. And as a side note, make sure you have insurance in general. Contact them and say, hey, I'm going to start doing ride sharing for companies such as Uber. I just want to let you know, do I need to pay any extra money? Do I have to get extra rideshare insurance? How does this work? Make sure you do research and let your insurance company know. The last thing you want to do is be in an incident or an accident or whatever, and you contact your insurance company. They didn't know you were driving for Uber, and they say, sorry, we didn't know you were driving for Uber. You didn't tell us you needed rideshare insurance. We're not going to cover you. And I hate to say it, insurance companies will use any excuse they can to, for whatever reason, not give you that much money or not give you any money at all. Let your auto insurance know right away you're going to start driving for Uber. Number 3, forward thinking. Now, I don't know your situation, but I feel like for most people who want to rent a car to drive for Uber, most of the time they don't have their own vehicle. So the mindset is, I'm going to rent a car, then drive, and then maybe I work my way up. Always think forward, and by thinking forward, I mean look to get your own vehicle. When you drive with your own vehicle, there are other complications, right? You're putting a lot of depreciation, a lot of wear and tear. Overall, the value of your vehicle is going to go down. But when you do all this math out of how much your vehicle is going to depreciate in value, it doesn't even equal all the money you're going to spend when it comes to renting a vehicle. I mean, let's say you rent a car for $250 a week. Like I said earlier, that's $1,000 a month. Let's say if you buy a car, and let's say your loan is $250 a month instead of a week, well, if you think about it, you have a $750 leeway of depreciation value that might be lowered from driving, and I don't think you could hit that in relation to renting. I know I'm throwing a bunch of math out there, but overall, having your own vehicle, I think, is a way better way to go. And now, a bonus tip, and that is to shop around. As you can see for me when I showed you, some of them were, let's say, $210 a week, $260 a week, $285 a week. One of them was like $85 a week, but they charge you by the mile, which maybe is not the best idea, especially if you're driving a lot. But these are things you have to weigh out. And I definitely suggest shop around, talk to these companies, maybe even get them on the phone saying, hey, I'm just curious if I can get a discount. I saw it was $260 a week, but I have a clean driving record. Is there any way I can get it down to even $250 or $240 a week? Shop around and try to figure out the best plan that works for you, and make sure in addition to read all the fine print. Maybe it says, oh, it's only $200 a week, but we're going to charge you if you drive too many miles. That's a little bit different than, let's say, $225 a week with unlimited driving and unlimited miles. Make sure you read the fine print, know what you're getting into, and of course, shop around.